All right.
All right, welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome back. Um, I literally wrote on my notes, Zach, smart bottle product, pre-filled design, crypto open source element. Ready for this one? Development strategy. Number one, Tap maintains web and can work with agency like Bracket X, who did Restroom Finder to maintain the mobile app. It's
Yeah,
precisely I I want to figure out if there's an economic incentive for other companies to plug in to our API.
hmm
If we figure that out, where they plug in and they get some type of economic value in a token or through the sale of the however the money cascades down, Tap as an organization can be making money with very few employees. The majority of the money for Tap right now, I see coming from the licensing of the API and the brand.
yeah,
I'd rather say to a beverage company in Halifax, hey, you have a pre-filled aluminum, you license our Tap logo and the QR on the back for $1,000 a month for, let's say, a small batch, right? And that's it. Print it into as many bottles as you want.
yeah. And then where does the QR go?
On the pre-filled aluminum, the QR goes on the back.
But where does it go when you scan it? It goes to our web version.
Yeah, well, just like we've done before, the deep link. If you have the app,
Yeah.
or if it's somebody else's app, fine, I don't care. But it's like it either goes to the Compass mode in the web or to the Tap app or somebody else's if that's the preferred app, let's say, on mobile.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So with the current situation with Zach, um, what's your long-term plan, I guess, for the Tap app? Is it something you want to maintain, and how do you? Like, what's the plan there? I guess. Because the app itself
Just
is definitely,
let
yeah.
me think, please. Let me think, please. Look, this is the Waterminder app. Okay, did you see it?
I saw a logo quickly flash. Yeah, a little.
It's
Yeah.
like, hi, acquire me or work with. It's like begging, right? I don't necessarily like the Waterminder app personally. I think it's like feature overkill, but it is good. It could, I could be fine with it. I don't necessarily, I actually really like the the restroom finder app if they'd be
hmm
willing to do something. So like if the app has Tap's name and logo, I don't care who made it. If it's great,
Yeah.
I really don't care. It doesn't need to be us. I think our app is nicely laid out, but it never really super functioned well. I think because of the whole Flutter thing. Like I think the native is just for some reason feels a little bit slicker. The
hmm
haptics and this and that. I like our minimalist design, but I think somebody else like the restroom toilet finder app is very similar.
Yeah.
So would I say stop supporting the app? I think that's a conversation with Toilet Finder or Waterminder because if Waterminder wants to build our functionality into their app, our app doesn't matter. Toilet Finder the same. They just have to both build on the API. The reason why it'd be nice, if possible, to put the restrooms in our app is almost like a backup.
hmm
It's optionality that if they like, I think the API will work, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the reason I ask is, I mean, I'm more than happy to help out with just the planning of the API. What does it need to do? What data does it need to provide? I can help you write the whole thing, update it, Like that, all of that is fine. We can find time to do all of that. The app itself is just, that's not my strong suit. I mean,
I hear you.
I can make it work, but it's going to take a long time.
What
It's not cost efficient for me to
here's the
poke
thing.
around
Here's
there.
here's the thing. If you can get me the API in those conversations with Waterminder, let's just say, like I'll message Waterminder and say, hey, we're Tap. We have a similar logo. I see you don't have stations in your app. Would you like to work with us to get stations in your app? That's the opening. I don't know what happens from there. The same for Toilet Finder. I don't know what happens from there.
Yeah.
But that getting the API is like more than enough because I think you could do it rather quickly, and that's okay if it can't get updated right away with
Mm-hmm.
toilets in the app. That's I would like it, obviously. But I want to try to sell the API as a business case, and I care about that more than having the app updated
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. How we go about the API and how you store data, etc. It would change depending on whether the ultimate goal is to acquire, let's say, a water minder or a toilet finder and the team behind it, and make it, a tap app that you own, and our API is just driving primarily that app, versus do you want to create something that is much more kind of generic and can get plugged into all of these various apps potentially out there, and drive.
I think. What do you think?
But they're just two very different business cases. It depends on where you want to go with it. The writing an API that is private and it's just kind of used to drive your own website and drive your own proprietary app, it's much quicker to build that API, and the parameters are very clear. You can, you can just move much faster. If you want to
I
write
think I
something
want.
that is more like the Foursquare where everyone can
Here's an
plug into it.
example. Here's an example. Someone could make an app for firefighters to alert them where the nearest fire hydrant is, right?
Yeah.
That would be on an open API.
Yeah, your open API.
Tap's open API.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Foursquare just open sourced all of their database, all of their points of interest. I think they just opened up. I added it in a card in the Trello. Like, I don't know if they have drinking fountains. They might have like decorative fountains that we could pull down.
Yeah.
But that's another data set, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's others, OpenStreetMaps is a good example. Like, there's a lot of data there. You can query it, you can get data out of it, but it's not smooth. Like, it's a painful process to get anything useful out of OpenStreetMaps. It's very fragmented, and the data is not all clean.
It also doesn't have like water quality, right? Another Johnny from My Tap Score, I think he charges like 20,000 or 30,000 a month for access to their API of water quality because they're selling it to filtration companies.
Yeah. Well, but the reason they can do it is because they're so niche and they're specialized.
Right.
And the data, like it's just very specific data that you're looking for. OpenStreetMaps is anything you can put on an app. So like the data you get out of it is garbage for the most part, because none of it is standardized, and it's like it's all over the place. You don't really know what you're getting. The narrower your scope is, the better you can make your data, and the more the more worthwhile it is basically to pay for that data.
My sense, Mike, is like I'm looking at my phone. There's Toilet Finder, Water Minder, Fill It Forward, Flush, Refilled, Pow Water, Pull, Refill. There's like 8 apps other than Taps.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me like the strategy that could win is to make the API open that other people can build into their app. rather than try to get the whole world onto TapSap. It's possible that those don't build it in. So I guess what I'm saying is like when these other ones say we want an API, yeah, we're down for the API. The next step was always on Tap to be like, well, here's the documentation, or here's how it integrates. We just don't have that.
Yeah, yeah, but that's, I guess, to my earlier point. We need to find the use case, and then once we have the use case,
I told you, Fill It Forward is an app that I told you about. Fill It Forward. Do you remember them?
yeah, the name is familiar.
They made a QR sticker. It's not dynamic. It goes on the bottle. They have a whole thing with JP Morgan and blah, 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 blah. And you scan it. It's literally a barcode scanner, not even a QR scanner. And they're not unique QR codes. They're generic. And now they're doing a container system, and they don't have a map for water.
Yeah. But would it improve their product if they did?
Yeah, if they had a map of where they sell bottles, kind of like the old tap business model. They sell plastic bottles to like JP Morgan with their logo on it. And sure, if it had a map of where water stations are, it would improve their product. The same for Strava, if they could build in water. Let's take Strava or DoorDash. Yes, it would improve their product if on their driver app they had toilets.
Yeah.
All right, so how about this way? How about this? Because we want to integrate with apps that are not just water apps, it should be open.
But then how are you going to make money if you just fully open it?
How do I make the ape? Well, fully open it, meaning they still have to have a user account and pay us money to have access to the API, no?
Sorry, I don't know what you meant by open, I guess. Just when you say an open API, I'm picturing like open to the public. Anyone can just...
No, then a private API that they license and pay for.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it can, I mean, to a point, it can probably be open to a certain free tier.
Yes.
And then for higher usage, there's paid plans.
Yes.
And limits and
yes. So in terms of like, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking through the steps we need to take to kind of build stuff out. Yeah, I wonder. I would try to find the most lucrative use case where you feel like there's a business there's an app where you can add the most value.
I just told you, I'm going to go to all the gig workers, Strava, Uber, Runkeeper, all the health and fitness. I can get to all of them through my connections in Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Okay, so at that point, we just need to establish very clearly what data do they need to get out of that API. Like, what do they need out of that API?
GPS, photos, and station reviews.
And then it's water refill,
floor, building.
Yeah. Okay. So you do want, yeah. You know where this is heading, right? You know where we're going to end up. We're going to end up in, let's tackle this hierarchy. And like, we need to fundamentally restructure
I know
how we store that data.
Yes.
With this larger vision in mind, because it was just never built.
Yes.
With that vision. So it's naturally, it just isn't supporting it. And it's creaking everywhere right now. Yeah. It just needs to be built up with that in mind.
But AI can help you rewrite that in like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, that's what
But
I
yeah,
need.
that
That's what
is
that's what
ultimately,
I
I think, what step one would be. No matter really, no
yes.
matter where you go. Honestly, no matter where you go, whether you're trying to keep it all in house and it's your own proprietary app, or you're trying to open it
Yes.
up to outsiders. And
No, I want
um,
Mike, I want DoorDash drivers to know where bathrooms are powered by tap. I want a Waymo to have a little water button. I want Strava to have a little water button, and it's all powered by tap. So
yeah,
private in the sense that companies receive access to it.
so let me then ask you this: so a large part of this hierarchy question was structured around who owns stuff and who gets to edit and change stuff, right? You remember the conversation about
Yeah, just one
the
sec. I'm gonna
airport?
push my call 2 minutes. Okay,
Sure.
I'll push it 5. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You remember the conversation about like an airport, what part of the infrastructure do they own, and if inside of an airport there's a store that is handing out water, like who owns all the various parts? That isn't all that important for the people consuming it on the other end. Like Strava doesn't care who owns anything. Um, are you picturing like are you picturing that you still want very clear ownership and you want businesses to be able to update stuff and change stuff, or are you like, yeah, that part really isn't all that important to me? It's more about just having the best possible data, and like screw the businesses, we'll crowdsource it and we'll make sure that we have good data in that sense. Like we just own the data collectively as the crowd, if you will, and we're just supplying it. You know what I mean? Do you get where I'm going with that? The question I'm asking?
Yes, I mean, let's take RTI Quantix, right? They're going to venues and placing these into stations and having each station have an ID, which
Mm-hmm.
the way I found them was because they had a QR sticker linked to the station.
Right.
So if we're just a pure API play and then we're working with RTI Quantix, at some point it's going to be matching of those hierarchies. And almost in a way, they've acquired the airport.
Yeah.
They've gone top down. They have something that LK is more likely to implement right now because it's a really good flow meter, plus all the software on the back end. Maybe the tap company buys, no joke, makes investments in RTI and starts to buy up their stock to where at one point it's like 51.49 of a shareholder, where the tap corporation owns 51% of their business. So it's a wholly owned subsidiary, but that the founder and the team there have enough incentive to run the business on their own. We just need to make those things talk to each other.
Yeah. But again, that is a now you're measuring water usage, and like that's data that's useful to whoever owns that situation. Like Strava doesn't care about that bit of it.
No, I don't know
Yeah,
how to answer. I don't know how to answer your question. I'm sorry. I would almost defer to you on saying, here's where we're at. Here's what the opportunity is in front of
I'm
me
just trying to
today.
figure out who are we targeting, and what is the.
App
I'm trying to bring
developers
the.
who
I'm trying to bring the scope down, I guess.
app
Is all.
app developers who want to build water data into their applications. That's who we're targeting.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't really care that much about ownership on the other end for that play. It's just not that important.
Not
Um,
now, no.
no. Okay. You have another call, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He said, "Sounds good. Let me know, and I'll log on." So I got 2 more minutes. I told
Yeah.
him I need 5.
Well, just
So
to take actionable stuff away from this, on the pre-filled aluminum, kind of do what we discussed. Like get your kind of thoughts together, and then just shoot that off, and tell us like where you would want us to assist there.
yes,
Whether it's one new design or if you just want to see options based on descriptions. let us know, and then we'll get that booked in. On this end, the API stuff. Do you want to poke Zach one more time and see, does he have stuff in the works that
Honestly, no. I would prefer that if you wrote a message on Trello that's like, "Hey Zach, trying to lean in here. Please let me know like where you left off."
Sure, I'll poke him one more time. See if we get anything useful out of it,
That's
and
it.
then if we don't, yeah, I do think that is the main focus. If you want to move anything forward on the tech side, that figuring out that hierarchy and what data like you want to ultimately provide to people, and then we just need to rebuild to make sure that
Yes,
we can support that data.
100%, Mike. Thank you. I've been asking Zach this for over a year, and that's why. But it's okay. It is what it is. So I'm not going to dwell on the past. I appreciate it. I think poking him will be very helpful. Rebuilding this is obviously substantial. I know. I'm sure. I don't know how much time it'll take. Like I made the joke about AI. I don't know if that's something you can use to speed things up, but I'm pretty
Well,
confident.
step one is to really just scope it out and get. We're going to get way more granular, but this can all be over email or in Trello. We're going to get way more granular in terms of
Yeah.
what the specifications are of this thing and what do you need, what data, what does the thing need to provide. So,
Yep.
but yeah, we can kind of get that ball rolling. I'll poke them on Trello first, and then
Okay. So
we'll
then
go.
those are the two follow-ups. And thank you. And I'll be in touch with as my next step is on the design stuff for the bottle.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All
Thank you,
right.
Mike. Great catching up. See you.
You have a great day. See ya.
Thank you too. Bye.